Yugi Bros!
What's up guys, Yugi Bros with another Duel video. Today we're going to be looking at water, or I guess what could be best described as Levia Dragon Turbo. There's no other boss monster in this deck aside from Levia. But basically we're going to show you guys what is possible, or I guess impossible, what this deck can do and can't do. I wanted to showcase this. A lot of people were asking about water in general, and I've been trying a million different combinations and ways to put this together, and I'll put a deck list at the end of this video. But so far, it's kind of hit and miss. It's very hit and miss. We're going to take it against Relinquished. Against Blue Eyes, it just gets shut out like 1 or 2 turns in. So I figured another tier 1 deck we'll play against Relinquished and see how it does. So we set the Fishborg Planter down, and Sonic Bird's going to swing into it. We're using the World's Greatest Fisherman as our skill. I just feel like that's the best all around. You kind of have to play it. They gave us all these cards that mill, so we just use Planter's Effect, which just says send a water from a deck to your grave once per turn if this is in your graveyard. Or mill a card, and if it is a water, you can special summon it. So we milled Levia. Imiruka here says if he's destroyed by your opponent, kind of similar, you send a top card from your deck to your grave. If it's a water, you draw a card. So this deck is very slow, and it needs to set up through effects like these. So we kind of just set and pass. Alright, so we milled a water, so we get the draw. We drew Yumi. So we draw for turn, and we played as High Tide over here, this one of, because with the World's Greatest Fisherman, it says you have to discard a water monster from your hand to add a water from your grave with no more than double the level. This is the only level 4 water High Tide over Great White, but he's just got 50 more attacks, so you might as well play him, and better defense. But with World's Greatest Fisherman, you have all these milling effects, basically. I feel like the only way to abuse that skill most is by milling water monsters and then pitching waters from your hand to get back the waters you milled. It's like the only outside of the norm search that this deck has to offer currently. So for example here, this is the only thing we can discard for Levia to get Levia back. The original plan was I was going to tribute both activate Yumi, but I figured that might be too risky, especially because they definitely have the Relinquish at this point. They'll go take it the following turn. This deck really doesn't have a defense, so we're going to keep on with our defense. And they get cocky and flip the Windstorm. They might as well. I mean, they've got Sphere Karibos for days, so they start going in with damage. That was a really good move. And we're already down to 11. Alright, so we normal Slushy. Slushy says you can, when it's normal summon, you can send a Slushy from your deck to your graveyard. This is really good because if you banish a Slushy while it's in your graveyard, if you have 3 either combined between banish and in your grave, you can banish to special summon a level 5 or higher Sea Serpent from your grave once per turn. And that would be how you get Levia out from at least the graveyard. But we're going to Big Wave, Small Wave, which destroys all face-up water monsters on our field. And then lets us special summon up to the same number from our hand. So this is how we get Levia from the hand to the field. And now we can activate the Yumi and blow the board. And we lose our face down Fishborg, but that doesn't matter. So we'll destroy all 3, and then we might as well use Fishborg's effect. And we hit a water, so we can special summon it back. It's just added defense, because we know if it's Relinquished, they're gonna... So we set up the 2 Slushies in the graveyard, but we know with Relinquish, they're gonna take the Levia the following turn. Oh, okay, and they had the Sphere. Wonderful. So we need some kind of defense. So they Black Illusion. They use the Djinn, which I don't think at this point they realize we're not playing traps, but that's fine. So they kill the Fishborg. So we have Yomi Ship, which is really good in this matchup specifically. So we try the Fishborg and we mine it, and we lose out to milling a Yumi. But what's nice about Yomi Ship is that, assuming they don't draw another monster, Relinquish swings into it, and then Yomi Ship will destroy Relinquished, giving us back our Levia Dragon. So real clutch draw here, we get Slushy. So we're going to use our skill, pay 5, and discard Slushy. Might as well at this point just add a Beat Stick, so we'll add High Tide. But now we have 3 Slushies in the graveyard to banish to special summon Levia from the grave. So in addition to that, then we'll normal summon High Tide just to get some extra damage in, and we'll go to town. Little do we know, they have 2 spheres and a Windstorm. So they use the Windstorm, and then they draw the Senju to get another Relinquished, but they don't have the spell card. So because High Tide's defense is 13, they'll kill that. So we'll banish another Slushy here for the second Levia, and we'll bluff a face down, because they don't know what we got. But then they sphere, and go figure they have the second sphere. We're just trying to advance, and then they top deck the spell card. So they're going to take a Levia and run it into our Levia, because Senju can't kill that conveniently. And yeah, then our back row doesn't do anything. So obviously we need some defense. We're not maining defense, but we're not maining the defensive cards. And I know that sounds terrible, but like, this deck is so prone to needing to mill water cards to do anything, and you need to play Big Wave, Small Wave, and Yumi if you're not playing the Yumi skill. So it's tough to find space for more defensive cards and not have that hinder the deck's ultimate goal, which is to mill waters, because then you'll start milling your defensive cards. It's very, like, they didn't do a very good job with this, and I'm assuming that's because their plan is to give it more support in future sets and have it all kind of come together eventually. But as you can see, like, here we are, game 2. We're just kind of doing the same setup defense thing again. And this is why I say Blue Eyes destroys this. Tyrant swings over to 1 or 2 monsters, and that's literally it. So we sided Michizuri here to deal with Relinquished, because a Levia equipped Relinquish is usually game. We usually can't out the Relinquish once they equip the Levia outside of Yomi ships, or another Levi and a Yumi play. So we side the Michizuri for that. Plus, we're playing a defensive game on a bunch of little weak monsters, so they're going to die. So you might as well kind of get some advantage off of this. So, like, for example, Fishborg dies. All right, we flip Michizuri. We'll pop a monster. Not that we needed it, but, Imiruka here gave us that free draw to the other Michizuri. So we're going to Slushy. This is going to dump the other Slushy. This sets up the 3 Slushies in the grave, or 2, but 3, because we're going to Big Wave this for a Yomi ship. We'll sacrifice the Yomi ship, it's fine, for the Levia power here that we're about to exert. So we banish the Slushy, special Levia, activate the Yumi, but little did we know they sided Dust Tornado, so we cannot get Levia's effect off. We try milling with Fishborg, and we don't get it. The reason we play this is because of Relinquish. If they go to try to target Levia with Relinquish, we can banish it for the turn, and then bring it back to try to pop the board the following turn. That was the idea behind it. We're only siding 1, but of course, this is the only upside here. So they swing with Sonic Bird, and I don't think they realized they didn't have enough to get it. So they Windstorm, although I guess they could have just done it with the first one. That'll die. We'll take damage, and then we'll Michizuri the Relinquish, killing that Levia, which is great. So it finally have some type of ground. Yeah, we're setting 3. That's probably too much. I actually wish I cited RFI in this matchup, because Ready for Intercepting's just the best trap in the game right now. So we'll set Michizuri number 3. We'll try to swing in a Sonic Bird. They'll sphere it. And of course they have the Relinquish play for the recovery. We're kind of just dead in the water at this point. It'd be nice. It'd be really nice if this deck had some defensive water monsters, and I don't really know what off the top of my head in Yu-Gi-Oh is a defensive water monster, but it could definitely use it. But this deck needs a crap ton of work, and I do like the Yumi skill as well, but I just feel like right now the deck is so mill centered that you need the Greatest Fisherman skill to add stuff back from your grave. That way you're never losing out in advantage or searches or whatever. So that's the list. We play one of the normal, like I said, to mill it, just to pitch it, just so we can add Levia back to hand if we're stuck on a Big Wave, Small Wave play. The Omi ships, because we need some kind of defense, and this kind of keeps it it's like main deck Michizuri almost. We can pop monsters that doesn't target, so it's good against Blue Eyes if it survives against Blue Eyes. Slushy is Slushy. We played Triple Fishborg because we just really want to see it. There's really no other good options right now. They didn't give us all that much. We don't play the Lost Blue Breaker. We could to pop back row, but I mean, we got the Yumi play. If that goes off, we don't worry about everything. And 2 Yumi Ruka, every time I played 3, it just clogged so much. So we're only maxing. We have to max out in the field, I feel, just because we're in a situation where it's an end all be all. You need to open the Levia to like it's so going second. Like if you can open, and this is insane because you need to open all of this, but like any water monster, big wave, small wave, Levia dragon, and the field spell, then you can pop their board in one turn. But the problem is you can't capitalize off of that unless I guess you had another water monster as well, so you can swing for game with both. But even so, I don't know how you're getting 2 on the field to then pop to summon 2 more. I don't know. It's very awkward. And then once, you play against Blue Eyes or Relinquished or whatever, following a turn, they take your thing, or they run over your thing, or they find a way to get rid of it. The deck takes way too long to set up slushies to try to come back. So it just doesn't seem all that great. And I just can't come up with a way to make it consistently good and without taking a very long time to set up. And that's just not, we don't have the time in the game for that. Everything else will just murder you beforehand. So, but guys, what do you think? If you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. I would love to hear them. I would love to make this deck relevant, but I just don't feel we have the capability to do so yet. But either way, comment, like, subscribe. As always, we're getting close to 200 subscribers, and I know I have a giveaway for that when that eventually happens, so I can't wait for that. But as always, guys, this is Yugi Bros signing out. Peace.